So this is a video on how to install this draw-tight receiver hitch for your 2016 and up Chevy Spark. At least and up at the time of the recording of this video. So looking at it here, it's the type of hitch where you don't have to do any drilling. It's a 1 1/4 hitch, so it's a class 1 hitch, which means you're not going to be towing a ton of weight. You're not going to be towing a ton of weight with your Chevy Spark anyway. This is a look at the installation instructions, which is what we'll be going through. And it really goes over everything step by step pretty well in these instructions. Took me about 1.5 hours to install. It says 45 minutes there. And here's the things you're going to need. Everything's listed right there. And your weight limits and everything listed here as well. There's a diagram showing you how that bumper goes on the back, or how the receiver hitch goes on the back in between the bumper and the car. And this didn't come in the printed instructions I got, but online here you can see the whole step-by-step process. So this video just shows you, what that looks like when you're doing it at home in your driveway. So here I am. First step is to remove these rear splash guards on the back of the car. So I've got these mud flaps. You probably won't have those, but no difference in the process here. I just have that extra step of taking that off. But there's 3 7mm screws right there inside the wheel well you'll take out, and then there's one underneath, and then that splash guard will come right out. And like I'm about to mention here,
the instructions say 5, but I only took out 4. 1, 2.
So I only saw 4.
4 on the bottom.
Even though the instructions say 5, but there is one more in there. It's just not holding the splash guard. Alright, then you've got these 2 little retaining clips on the bottom here that just, with your flathead screwdriver, you pry out the middle, and then you pry out the outside. So those just come right out. 2 Phillips screws holding in each light. And then I had a hard time just pulling the light out, so I used some of those plastic trim removal tools, and there it is there, to remove those taillights. And they come right out. And then you've got, of course, the 3 bulbs on the inside that just twist out of there counterclockwise, give it like a half twist, and they come out. So then, of course, same thing on the other side. Oh, and I didn't show it, but I also removed the splash guard on the driver's side. Just didn't show that part. But same process. So then you've got these 2 Phillips screws here on the top of the bumper. And just take those out. Again, just showing the one side. You guys know how to unscrew a screw. And here's where I discover that 1 7mm screw that I didn't see before.
There's one more right up there in the wheel well.
And I believe those instructions online do show where that is as well. But that's it, really. Just 5 7mm screws on each side, and then the 2 Phillips. Take the headlights out. There's 4 more Phillips screws there. So then the next part here, prying this back bumper off. Had a little bit of trouble figuring this out.
I don't know what I did, but okay.
I do talk about it here.
Okay, so what you got here is all these little retaining clips that slide into these. And with this tool right here, you're kind of able to get in there and push those, but it's still a little tricky. You got to use a combination of this, and a little bit of this, and that's something that the instructions don't really go over. They just say pry it off gently. So try to work on the other side and see how that goes.
It's one of those things too. Once you figure out that you're not going to break it, because you know you're worried about breaking those little plastic clips on there, because the bumper will never fit right again if you do. But once you do the one side, it took me about 20 minutes to do the other side to figure it out, and then this side only took me about 5 minutes. So, and now there's a few more clips holding on the back, and I just pull up on each side here, and it starts to come loose.
Pull up on it.
Yeah, and pull up on the whole bumper. It comes right off. So now you've got 3 nuts on each side of this rear bumper here. And you're just going to remove those. And you're either going to need a deep well socket or this is a pass-through socket that I have here that has a hole in the middle so that the stud can go all the way through.
Hope that's not a problem. Just noticed on this side, this body sealer is like painted over that, but if you look at this side, it's not. So hopefully that won't be an issue.
Yeah, that was really no big deal. Just it was a little more stuck. You'll see when I pull the bumper off. It's a little more stuck on the one side. So now as you can see, I got the nuts started here on each side, and then once I had them all hand tightened down, I went ahead, because the holes in this receiver hitch are slotted, and you can use a rubber mallet, you don't have to use a metal hammer. But I was just getting it knocked over a little bit so I could get it centered in there. Because it comes with these slotted holes, you got about 1 inch of movement. Now you've got to tighten all these nuts down. The instructions say to 20 pound-feet. As you can see, I am not using a torque wrench, but I am just getting them as tight as I can. It's probably not the best way to do it. I would recommend using a torque wrench. The next step is to cut out a small rectangular hole right in the center of the bumper for the receiver hitch to clear the bumper. So you're going to mark the center point here, and then you're going to measure out a rectangle 2 1/4 tall, which is this way, by 3 1/4 wide. So I'm measuring from the center point half of whatever half of 3 1/4 is to get my bottom measurement here. And once you have all that marked off, I just put some masking tape to tape out that rectangle to make it easier to cut. Now the instructions say to use box cutter, so I didn't have one on hand, so I used a Dremel tool with the cutoff wheel. Once you've chopped that piece out of there, just kind of clean off the edges a little bit. And the bumper should really be ready to put back on as long as that hole is cut in the right spot. Once everything's snapped into place, just a matter of putting all those, oh, there's a look at the hitch there. Just a matter of putting all those screws back in. Put the clips back in at the bottom. Splash guards back in on each side. I said it's going to be 4 7mm screws that hold on the splash guard, and 1 up in the corner there that holds the bumper cover on. And with that, we've just about wrapped it up here. Last step left is just put these taillights in. So hopefully this video helped you out if you're thinking about putting a receiver hitch on your Chevy Spark. If it did, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And I do have a wiring for the hitch video coming up as well. So please give it a like if this helped you out, and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.